In Rutherford County for the month of May, pending home sales were up 14% year over year. Also, new listings were down 14% year over year. So a really weird dynamic that we've been seeing going on for quite a few months right now. I'm John Turner. I'm the team lead of the Turner Victory team at Onward Real Estate, and we're here with your Murfreesboro Real Estate Report. We bring this to you weekly where we cover Murfreesboro and all of Rutherford County, including Smyrna, Laverne, Eagleville, and all points in between. So the three things you need to know about this week's market before we get into all the charts is, as we said, May pendings were up 14%. We went from 492, or we had 492 new contracts and only 430 this time last year. We're going to show you a chart here in a few minutes, but this actually follows a trend that we've been watching for about 6 months. Also, a trend that we've been watching for about 6 months is that there are a lot less new listings hitting the market than what we saw this time last year. We're down 14% on new listings for the month of May. Last year we had 821 homes come on the market. This year only 707. This has taken our month supply of inventory down to 3.38 months supply. So the third thing you need to know about this market is overpricing. Overpricing is still an issue with a lot of sellers, and they are the ones that are sitting on the market for a while. As a matter of fact, days on the market's up 25% year over year, and 36% of all active listings have already cut their price. And those that had to cut their price, they take 62 extra days to sell, and they net 6% less than those that didn't have to cut their price. So anyway, that's your three things that you need to know about the Murfreesboro real estate market going on right now. But let's go ahead and look at some of our charts. First of all, we're going to start with our May 2026 recap. We just hit on the new listings being down 14%. I will tell you that what you're looking at right now is single family homes. Now, when we get into the data and all the charts, that includes everything: condos, townhomes, single family homes. So you will see a slight discrepancy in numbers, but the trends are still the same, and that's what we're looking at. Whenever you look at the new under contract or the new pendings, as we said, those are up 14%. Our closings, May closings were pretty much flat. 459 units sold, homes sold this year versus 455 last year. So a 1% increase, but pretty flat right there. The other thing that we want to look at is the, let me see here, the average sales price. Average sales price only up about $200, but it is up. And that tells you that we're not seeing a crash of the market. So if you've been waiting on a crash, you're going to be waiting quite a bit longer. Even when you look at the median sales price, the median sales price is down slightly, but not much. It's down 2%. That's the median sales price. So prices are still holding steady. Let's get into what we saw happen this week in the Rutherford County real estate market. So right now we are in a balanced market. The Turner Victory team has their market health score at 50, which means it doesn't favor buyers or sellers. This has actually come down slightly from last week, but it's up from where we were in a slight buyer's market as well. So just kind of teetering back and forth between the buyers and sellers. So basically a balanced market. There's 1,591 active listings right now. We have 4.13 months supply of inventory. You know what? Let me take that back. I am on the wrong chart, y'all. We don't, that is Williamson County, and we do care about Williamson County as well, but I'm giving you the wrong information. So here we go. Rutherford County also is in a balanced market. It was unique that both of these markets, Williamson and Rutherford, had the same market health score this week. This is the first time that's happened in quite some time. We do have 1,553 active listings in Rutherford County with a 3.57 month supply. So you saw me going over Williamson there for just a second. So our month supply in Rutherford County is down from what Williamson County is, and it's down from last week. Here are the different price points. Anything below 500,000 is still in the green as far as the month supply. It's still moving. Once you get above 500,000, you are sitting for a little while if you don't price right, present right, position right, and promote it correctly. So, and then you can see these numbers here. So it does vary, our month supply, between price points, but that is something that you would definitely expect. Let's look at some of the trends here, because I think these are very interesting. First of all, when we look at active inventory is still climbing. We're at 1,553 units right now. We were at 1,406 just about 6 weeks ago. So we are still climbing, but if you look at the past trends, that is to be expected this time of year. The interesting thing, though, is we are still not that much higher than what we were this time last year. Where I'm really starting to notice something level out here is with the month supply. If you notice, we had jumped up to 3.66 month supply, and we had kind of seen a gap between last year and this year, the orange being this year. But that gap has tightened quite a bit, because even though our supply is growing, our number of sales are going up as well, so that impacts month supply. New listings, if you notice, we continue every week. The orange line continues to be below 2024 and 2025 numbers. The one interesting part about it is the past, was that 2-4-5 weeks, we have actually kind of caught up to 2024. We're still down below 2025, but this week we kind of caught up where that was, and you could see for the next few weeks in 2025, our inventory was down, so it will be interesting to see if we make any gains there or not. The weekly pendings, what I want you to see with all these squigglies here is that the pendings continue to jump out. They jump quite a bit higher than anything we've seen for this week in the past 3 years. If we pull 2023 out of here, you can see where the orange line has been above 2024 and 2025 numbers in pendings for quite a few weeks out of this year, which then leads to the totality of the year. Year to date, we are far ahead of where we were last year with new pendings. All right, speed of sale, we continue to talk about this. 31.6% of all homes in Rutherford County went under contract in the first 7 days. Something interesting over here, almost 41% of the homes in the 800 to 1 million price range went under contract in the first 40 days as well. So that is very interesting number. You would expect that to be lower. That just shows you that there's tight inventory there. So if a home comes on the market and it's priced right, it's promoted right, it's positioned right, and it's presented right, it is going to sell fairly quickly. But still, across the board, I mean, the lowest we have is in the 500,000 range, and that is one of our slower price points. But even at that, you have a little over a 1 in 4 chance of getting your house under contract the first week if you do the right things. The issue still remains if you go over 90 days. It really hurts you, because right now you're only getting 92.7% of your original asking price, and almost 62% of all the homes right now that go over 90 days are actually not selling in that time frame. So there's 450 homes on the market right now that are at 90 days plus, so that's 29% of all our activity, all our active inventory. What we're seeing two markets, and this is really important to buyers and to sellers. We're seeing two markets. If you are realistic about your price as a seller, and if you are realistic about the way you need to present your home, there are buyers out there, and they are looking to buy a home that meets their needs, meets their criteria, and that is priced fairly. On the other hand, if you're off on the pricing or the presentation, you're sitting on the market for quite a while. So even though our inventory has built up some, what we really have built up is the homes that have been passed over. They're homes that all the buyers out there have looked at and they're like, it's not the home for me. So if you're a seller in that price point, or not in that price point, but that days on the market, you need to start thinking about, What's going on? Why have we not sold yet? And it's almost always going to be pricing or presentation. It can be promotion. It also can be, and we've talked about this quite a bit, positioning. Because even though your home, there may be a similar home that's sold for that same price that you got yours listed for, if you've got 4 or 5 others that you're competing against, you've got to be positioned in front of them or very competitively with them anyway, or you will get passed over as well. A couple of other things just to look at real quickly. Our monthly closings, we talked about that. This is the total. So this would include condos, townhomes, and single family. 520 closings in May this year. Last May, we had 525. So basically flat right there. Pendings are still looking good. We want to talk about showing information, though. Let me scroll down here and look at our showing information. I think that's very important because there is a trend right there. In Rutherford County right now, our trend now for the past 6 weeks is we have seen showings decline. That is a leading indicator. So it's interesting. We're still seeing pendings jump, but showings are declining. Some of this may have to do with the lack of new listings coming on the market. But I can tell you, there are buyers out there. They are looking, but you can't be still on the market. Our busiest price points, as you would think, under 300. If you're under 300,000 right now, and there's not many of you, you're getting 8 to 9 showings a week. That's quite a bit. If you're in the 300,000 to 400,000 range, you should be getting about 4 showings a week right now. Okay, but anything below that, you're going to be dancing on either side of 1 showing per week, especially after that first week. So, if for some reason you're in these lower price points and you are not getting showings right off the bat, there's something missing right there. Also, if you're a buyer in those price points, expect to have competition. We right now are working with a couple of situations where there's multiple offers. Because good homes came on the market and people were interested in them. All right, let's look at the 30-year fixed rate just real quickly. We talked about this trend going up from 5.98, and then everything kind of went haywire in the Middle East, which really impacted inflation. But to me, it's really interesting that the 30-year fix or mortgage rates altogether have been kind of resilient. I mean, it went down this week to 6.48. Still higher than it's 0.5% higher than what they were before everything happened in the Middle East, but it's still quite a bit better than the 6.85 that we saw this time last year. So we are definitely seeing affordability better right now than it was this time last year. The one other chart I want to bring in, this is one that I just brought up just for this particular video, but this is, the red line is the new listings year over year, and the green line is the pending contracts year over year. And this starts over here in December and works its way through May. And see how this gap, except for February, this gap has really widened between the new listings that are slowing down and the pendings that are going up. Notice that gap gets wider. So the concern there, and we've talked about this plenty of times, is the tightening of inventory. Because even though we have more available homes, as I said, a lot of those homes are what I'm calling Passover homes. People have just looked at them, they passed over them for whatever reason. A lot of it has to do with the sellers not being realistic about the price. You do have to be realistic in this market. It doesn't mean you can't get a good price for your house. It just means that you're not just going to put it out there and people are going to pay whatever you want for it. Got a situation that just got into actually where I represent a buyer, and we're trying to work out a deal, and the seller is stuck on a number because the seller needs that money to go to their next place. I'm sorry. I mean, and most buyers don't care what the seller needs, right? They care what the market value is. So if you're a seller that's stuck on a price for any other reason besides that's what market value is, then you are looking at it all wrong. I understand you want to pay off debt, you want to go to another house, you want to do whatever. I don't care. My buyer doesn't care. The market doesn't care. So if you're going to be a seller in this market, you have to care what the market value is of your house and not, what you've got to get out of it. So anyway, that's just a lesson maybe that if you're going to be a seller, you can learn from the situation we're in right now. I hope this information helps you. Oh, by the way, I do want a couple of things I do want to bring up before we end here. We talked about fewer homes came on the market and sellers have pulled back, but buyers are still showing up anyway. And one thing that I really think I need to point out, because sometimes we wonder about this, but we are in a healthy, functioning market right now, okay? We're not in a bubble. We're not in a market crash. There's nothing going on. I hear that all the time. Hey, I'm going to wait for the market to crash. The numbers just aren't showing that. I understand if you lived through 2008, why you may think that's going to happen, but the data is not showing that. The data is showing that homes are getting a little bit more affordable, but the prices really aren't coming down. They're staying pretty flat. We talked last week about the FHFA charts that came out. For quarter one, we were up, I think it was 1.8% in values in our area. So if you've been sitting on the sideline waiting for that crash, you may want to look at some of the data. You may be hurting yourself more so than you're helping yourself. I hope this information helps you. Again, I'm John Turner. I'm the team lead of the Turner Victory team at Onward Real Estate. We bring this to you every week. You can not only watch the video here, you can look at the numbers. We put some of the charts out weekly on our website, turnervictory.com. So you're more than welcome to go check those out. Please make sure to comment below, like, all that helps us out. And if you have any specific questions, please ask those as well, and we will be more than happy to answer them for you. But until next week, I hope you make this coming week a great week. Thank you.